So in this video, I want to talk about some of the tips that you can quickly apply so you can become a lot more outspoken and confident. So let's get into it. This first tip is speaking past the person. So this means when you're talking to the person, you have your voice not only reach the person, but you imagine a point that's maybe 1 or 2 feet behind the person, and you try to have your voice reach that point behind the person. What this does is, one, it makes sure that the volume is actually loud enough for the person to hear you. Second is having a loud enough voice gives the other person the impression that you're actually confident about the things that you say. See how Chris Hemsworth in this example that his voice was loud enough to create an echo.
I was going to extend my visa. I was going to be a part of something which sounded big and exciting, but I didn't have a whole lot of detail beyond that. And it was...
Can it actually just be the walls? Yeah, sure. But the point here is don't be afraid to be too loud. Also, another tip that you could use is place your phone where the other person would be if you're talking to them, and record your voice to kind of hear what exactly are other people hearing, and if your voice is actually loud enough. If you like what you're seeing, give this video a like. The second tip is getting used to silences. If you don't like silences, you might either talk really fast and try to cover over everything, or just avoid conversations altogether. But confident people pause in their conversations all the time because they're comfortable in taking the time to express what they actually want to say in the conversation. Let's see some examples.
I want to go on a month-long surf trip throughout Indonesia and just do nothing but surf and relax and chill. You know, I've had a pretty busy run of work for...
To practice this, you can say a sentence to someone, pause for 3 seconds, and then talk again. Kinda like this. Use this to remind yourself that you don't have to fill up every dead silence. The next tip for becoming more outspoken is getting used to the conversational flow. The thing is, it's really easy to be really self-conscious when you feel like all the attention is on you and you can't actually talk properly. What you want to do is place your phone or camera right in front of you and then try to answer a question right in front of it, like, what's your favorite food? And then try to talk without overcorrecting yourself. Don't try to rush through it, go at your own pace, use hand gestures if needed, and understand that conversations goes at all different pace. So let's see some examples here.
And we moved back to Australia and I live there. Now you've posted of all these other artists and quite a nostalgia to their music, which I find is enjoyable and calming, and I can have it on in the background.
So part of feeling more natural and outspoken when you're talking to someone is overcoming that feeling of getting judged by every single word. So use these exercises to help you pressure through that. This next tip is don't assume negative reactions means wrong. This means that we all have different opinions, right? Yeah. So when people disagree with the things that you say, don't be really quick to retract it. Because let's say if you actually had a good opinion, but you didn't give the other side long enough time to digest it, then nothing ever happens. So have confidence in what you're saying and don't assume negative intentions from other people, even if it feels like it. Look at how Chris Hemsworth answers a potentially negative sounding question.
How is Chris Hemsworth still alive? I don't know.
What this really comes down to is that we have to remember that we always have a choice to take it personally or not. This next tip is applying sweeping glances. What a sweeping glance is when you're talking to a group of people, you want to meet their eye contact just for a brief moment and kind of scan across the room and scan back. And for those 3 minutes that you're speaking, you are actually taking the leadership role. By doing this, you're making sure that everyone is included when they are listening to what you have to say. Focus on Chris's eyes in this example.
Were there, and Robert Downey and Scarlett and Chris Evans and so on, and they're all talking about Civil War and how cool it's going to be.
So make a practice to connect with others through this sweeping motion. Now this last tip is reduce the moment before you speak. Honestly, right before you talk, it's always going to be scary. But you can choose to be scared for 5 seconds or 5 minutes. And the truth of the fact is that most people are incredibly good at talking themselves out of doing dreadful things. For example, a lot of people, they want to exercise, but in their mind they think about how hard it's going to be, and then they end up to not do anything. That's why Nike's slogan is really applicable here. Just do it. Don't think about how dreadful it is, don't overthink it. Minimize that moment right before you talk, and just talk. Otherwise, if you want to learn how to be more confident as an introvert, I made another video on that. So if you want to check that out, we will keep talking.